the AR-15 and the Glock 19. They're Legos for adults. It's super easy to build with.
He breaks all the rules of conventional YouTube. Right. Like all of these, retention editing and like kind of all the behind the scenes stuff that most of you guys don't care about.
I mean, when was the last time you did a patrol with a rifle?
I've never done a patrol with a rifle.
Probably never. So, but when was the last?
I'd like to.
But when
was
the last time your wife was gone and you picked up the rifle next to your bed and cleared your house?
Oh, that's every weekend.
Probably Saturday.
yeah, it's every weekend.
Welcome back to another episode of the AT3 Tactical Podcast. You'll notice I'm sitting where Charlie normally sits. CJ is where he usually is, and we have no one over here. That's because Charlie is out of the office today, so CJ and I decided it'd be a good idea to react to some of the comments we've gotten on both the podcast and the main channel over the years. And I'm going to kick this off with a comment that came in. I thought this one was exceptionally good for right now based on things that have happened in current events over the past little bit. So this is a podcast episode we did a while ago where we were talking about truck guns. I don't know if you remember that episode. So this comment comes from a guy called That Gun Guy Again.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, on the subject of truck guns, me personally, I believe it has its place in regards to truck guns. If you're living in a rural area, maybe in the sticks or something, I can see a use for a long gun in your truck. However, if you're in the city, I wouldn't recommend it. Just keep the pistol that you feel the most comfortable with or train with the most. Keep that on your person. In the case of a self-defense scenario, I would assume you're using just enough force to stop the threat or enough force to separate yourself from the situation. That's just my 2 cents. Now, the reason I think this one is really relevant to what's going on right now is over this past weekend, we had that mass shooting that happened in Idaho. And I know that's something we probably shouldn't say that word, mass shooting, on YouTube because they get a little touchy about it. But I think we can talk about current events and think about it realistically. So, CJ, I don't know how up to speed you are on
Go ahead and run me through exactly the whole scenario. I heard about it, but I didn't know.
Yeah, so there was a guy, I don't know the name of the guy that did it. I don't even care. I don't think those people should be remembered in history in any way, shape, or form. But there was 2 guys that reacted to a mass shooter at an In-N-Out parking lot. He just did some heinous stuff, had a rifle, opened fire on people that were charging their cars and that were working at an In-N-Out burger. But there was 2 guys. One was an off-duty police officer who responded with his handgun. I think he got off his motorcycle and engaged the guy. And then the other one was this dude named Jordan Salinas. He's been getting quite a bit of attention online because it's just what he had on him at the time that he engaged the shooter. But neither of these guys actually stopped the shooter, as in they didn't stop the threat. They didn't hit him and take him out. The shooter ended up folding and unaliving himself because he met resistance from armed people that were there. But the thing that everyone's been going on about is this Jordan Salinas guy. He pulled up in a cowboy hat, a vest, some cutoff jeans, shorts, and he engaged the shooter with I think it was a 5.7 with a can.
No way.
He had a suppressed 5.7.
Yeah,
that he
no way.
engaged the shooter with.
That's crazy.
And I thought it is relevant because one of the talking points, one of the conversations that have come out of that subject is everyone saying, well, here's an argument for a truck gun. Because if he had a long gun in his truck, he could have used that to stop the shooter instead of engaging.
A much longer distance too, and maybe a little bit more safe, but
So I thought that was just an interesting subject on the truck gun because, what would you have done in that situation? I think people can an armchair quarterback this all day, like what they could have, should have, would have done in that same situation. But I've never been in a situation where I needed to stop a mass shooter. So I can't say that having a Mark 18 in my truck would have made me any more efficient than having my SIG P365 in my holster.
Right. Well, I mean, the thing is, you have to think of let's kind of imagine. Let's imagine you're kind of in the off-duty cop scenario. Maybe you're in a car. Maybe you're in your truck instead of like on your motorcycle. Otherwise, it's a motorcycle gun, not a truck gun. But anyway, so let's say you have that, and you encounter someone or you come across a situation where someone is doing maximum damage very quickly. Is your immediate thought to go, wait a minute, let me get my gun, let me park the car, go to my truck, or grab it from the back seat or whatever, and then kind of deploy this thing and then get it out? Or are you just gonna grab your your appendix holster, your 3 o'clock or whatever, whatever gun that you have on your person, that you can get out in less than 2 seconds because you've been doing dry fire training. Or are you going to do that and start to try to, go to town, or are you going to, let me stop, go to my truck? That's always the problem with truck guns for me, and kind of the reason why I've started to kind of double back a little bit on them is because it's like, I don't know how realistic it is to say if I'm in like this very stressful, crazy, deadly situation, am I then going to have the wherewithal to park my car, go to my, trunk and grab my gun and whatever? It's a lot more practical if you're in. Go ahead.
Put yourself in his shoes. He's coming out of an In-N-Out burger,
right?
And in the parking lot, there's a guy with a rifle just shooting people. We're filming right now, Kevin. You need to leave. Our customer service guy just tried to walk in. But you put yourself in his shoes. You come out of the In-N-Out burger, and there's a guy in the parking lot with a gun. He's just shooting people. Are you going to then try to move to your car without shooting if you've got a pistol on you?
Exactly.
No. The first rule of a gunfight is to get fire superiority. So you pull out your gun and you need to start shooting, right? Because even if you don't hit that threat, all of a sudden that threat now has a threat it needs to contend with. So yeah, you're putting a big red arrow above your head saying shoot at me, but I think as someone that carries a gun, that's the position that you're volunteering to put yourself into.
Yeah.
If you're going to be the one that steps up in that situation to engage a threat, you have to be ready for that.
Yeah.
So moving to your car isn't always going to be an option. And this goes back to something I said a while ago. In the School of Infantry, there's this what if question that always pops up with privates. And it's always like, well, what if this happens? Or what if this happens? And there's no answer to it. There's no right answer to a what if situation. It's just the right answer is what you do in that moment. And I think having a truck gun as an option, if you're in your truck and you encounter that and you're able to get that out and engage with a rifle, great. But if all you have is a pistol that you're carrying, you trained with that pistol, I hope, and you can actually engage a threat. And at least then he's not shooting at people that are completely unarmed or just in a terrible situation. So I thought this was an interesting comment.
No, yeah,
it was worth bringing up because it's topical. I mean, we could talk about this one subject probably for
that's
an
like a
entire
whole
hour.
that's basically a whole podcast. Yeah.
So yeah, that was that gun guy again. That was on our truck gun podcast. Good comment. Wanted to bring it up because it was topical for things that have been going on in current events. We don't usually get to talk about current events or throw our opinions out.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Let's see. So let me read this one from
Change the subject.
Jordan
rapidly
Segan, 2382. Too bad I couldn't add a picture. I bought. So this is coming from our video that was about building a gun for $600. So too
I
bad.
got one from that too.
Yeah. So too bad I couldn't add a picture. I bought a $499 Radical RF-15, which we actually have in our safe right now, or at least pieces of it. We might have taken it apart a couple of times. But anyway, it will drive tracks up and down 150 yards with my SIG scope. Been hunting deer for 2 years now, 223, and I've dropped every one with a headshot. And he does mention that he's a hunter and cares more about the meat. The standard Radical Firearms RF-15 chambered in 5.56 NATO features a 1.7 twist rate barrel, 16-inch SOCOM profile barrel made from 4140 chrome moly vanadium steel. And it will do some damage, and you don't need more than this because this is straight up military grade firearm. So he's basically talking about how for less than what I built that $600 gun for, which you guys can go check out on the main channel, you can get this like RF-15, which we have actually done a number of videos on. We spent some, I think we bought ours for like 15 for like $350.
Yeah, it was a little more than that, like $375.
Yeah, something like that, and then plus like shipping and fees and whatever. But I mean, we've thrown that thing out of barns. We've drove that thing over with a truck, and I'm just always blown away, Josh, by how different or just how much abuse these rifles can take, it's amazing to me.
Radical, I think, is actually two companies. So there's Radical Firearms, and then I think there's Radical Weapons or something. So they've got like their budget brand AR-15s, and then they've got like this really expensive suppressor company that they're running. I think maybe even in the same factory.
Oh,
so it's really an interesting.
and they're making like high-end suppressors.
Yeah, so
really,
it's really an interesting company. I think they might even make suppressors for like the minigun or something. Just like really,
wow.
it's an interesting company. That's for sure. But the RF-15 is a very high value rifle for the cost that you're spending on it. So it does have a 4140 barrel, which is a little bit on the cheaper end as far as metals go, and the barrel itself is probably like a 1 or 2 minute barrel. It's not. No, I wouldn't even say it's a 1 minute barrel. It's probably like a 2 minute barrel, based on what we've seen out of barrels of that type.
Because we've tested that same barrel, that 4140 chromoly vanadium.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's and I don't think they're making that barrel either. I think that's coming from an OEM house,
Right.
Like maybe a BCA, or I don't know who it is for sure. But
Because
I mean,
it's actually
if I had
really hard to
guess,
find 4140 barrels.
As
is it
as
not?
as the average consumer, it's almost impossible to get a 4140 barrel, and if you do, you're usually paying more for that lower quality 4140 barrel than if you were to buy a more expensive like 4150 barrel. And that's because 4140 isn't really mass produced for the consumer market anymore. It's mass produced for people that are making those budget rifles, your MP15, your RF15, your just the cheap Dunham's stock on the shelf rifle. But there's a ton of value in that, and they're able to cut costs by using the 4140 barrel, and they're probably using an imported handguard from like China or something. And that was my only complaint. My only real complaint with that rifle was the handguard felt cheap, and the barrel nut also I think is an aluminum kind of cheapo barrel nut as well. So they really cheaped out in those two spots. But I mean, that's an $80 upgrade realistically, if you know how to do all the stuff you need to do to change out your barrel nut. Which you need a torque wrench, you need a bench, you need a little.
But
bit
that's
of
the thing too, is that's a great base for upgrading, right?
So
like
the $100 upgrades video,
right,
is that rifle.
Exactly. So like you get that rifle for cheap, and then you spend you could spend as much as you want. I mean, at the end of the day, but you could spend $100, you could spend $300, you could spend $1,000 upgrading that rifle. Now I would say that if you are deal shopping, deal making, you probably could still build a higher quality rifle for the same price, like $500. Probably could still build a higher quality rifle. You could get a better barrel, could get a bit better of a bolt carrier group. That's going to help your accuracy. You could spend some money on an optic, that type of thing. So, like, I think, honestly, I think you could you could find a little bit more value if you're shopping around for individual parts. But it does really depend, honestly. Like, I think sometimes things go on sale, or there's all kinds of ways that you can save money. But at the end of the day, I think having a budget rifle to start and then upgrading from there is just as good as like building from scratch. And I don't think there's a obvious savings.
I think if you can find the RF15 for under $400, it's a steal. It's a no-brainer. That's just it's a quality rifle at that price point. I think the actual MSRP of that rifle is $599, but I usually see it between like $350 and $400.
Right.
And if you can find it down at that price range somewhere using one of the 100,000 deal aggregators that are on the internet today, it's a good good rifle at that price.
Go grab it.
What I think it kind of fails in is just the pride of building your own rifle and keeping it in a budget. You get a lot more out of that but if you're not into building things,
Well, exactly.
When
I do think
I have a comment that goes
sure.
right into that. So we had that same video, the $600 bill.
Yeah.
There was a guy named Turbo6019. He said, "In my opinion, the feeling of using something that you built has a special feeling in itself, or that is not something that you can buy. It's difficult to explain, but it's a great feeling for those that can do it correctly, because it's not dangerous if done. It's dangerous." So he said, excuse me, sometimes people have weird grammar on the internet, and sometimes when you're reading it, your brain fills in the blanks. He said, "It has a great feeling if you can do it correctly, because it's dangerous to build a gun if you're not doing it correctly." And that's true. You need to know a lot about building, but the fact that you can save quite a bit of money and build it yourself, I think really leans into. So you can spend $350, $375, and you get the RF15 pre-built, and then you can do some minor upgrades to it, like in the $100 upgrades video, or you can take the approach that we did from that video, and it's I have $600 to build a whole gun. How am I going to do it?
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Exactly. Well, and I think the thing that most people forget about is the deals that you can find across. There's Reddit, but then there's other places, all kinds of deal aggregated places.
Even, when we were doing the $1,000 bill,
Yeah.
you used AI to find a Geissele barrel.
I did.
for
Yeah. No.
$200.
I told AI. I said, hey, I have this much money. Find me a deal on this product, basically, and it did. Like I was shocked. I was like, I've never used AI to shop around before. I'm sure there's some people who are pro AI, anti AI, but when it's saving me money, I'm for that. So that was really cool. But yeah, there's tons of ways that you can save money. You can wait around for deals. Of course, there's the obvious deals. 4th of July, Labor Day, Black Friday, those types of times, and there'll be lots of times to save some money because lots of different places will be offering really great deals. So, and you can also sell stuff too, which is another thing that you did in the
Girl Math, yeah.
the $1,000 upgrade. Yeah, if you go, Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that, it's not obviously, there's certain regulations and laws for serialized firearms, things like that. You don't want to be messing around with that. But accessories, stocks, grips, handguards, you can wheel and deal that stuff all day long, and it's like super easy to do.
Especially if you have a good local connection to
Right.
the shooting space. If you do a lot of competition shooting and you know a lot of those people, there's a ton of Facebook groups. There's GAFs. There's
Or local gun shops will buy some stuff too.
I've never experienced that.
Yeah.
I've never gotten a good amount from like a pawn shop or a local gun shop. I have actually before I moved here, I tried to pawn off some firearms. Like, I don't want these. It was like an IWI Tavor. Like I don't want these anymore. Like I don't want to pack them up. I don't want to worry about them. I just want to get rid of them.
You've been trying to sell your Tavor for years,
Yeah,
and
no
nobody
one-
wants it.
Nobody wants. Well, the pawn shop wanted it for like $600. I was like, no thanks. Like, it's worth a little bit more than that. The thing's brand new because I don't like shooting it, so I haven't shot it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I mean, I wouldn't suggest going to like a pawn shop, but I mean, it's not unreasonable to expect to get like 50% of the cost back on some of that stuff if you try to liquidate it or get rid of it, so you can get something better. So
Sure.
that's why I put the limit like, we're going to get 50% back. But yeah, no, building is definitely an interesting route to go down. Because there's got some preliminary costs that people don't think about. Like you're going to need some specialized tools. You're going to need some punches. You're going to need torque wrenches. You're going to need barrel nuts. Barrel nut wrenches. You're going to need, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You might need to get some small parts bags, like some food bags or whatever, so that when you inevitably send a detent into the stratosphere, you've got a backup and it's not super frustrating. But I mean, the AR-15 and the Glock 19, they're Legos for adults. It's super easy to build with. And then you got like the 3DP guys that are just literally pushing a button and spitting out some stuff. Some PLA.
Those are accessories and things that they want, and it's just super cool. Yeah. Let's move on. Speaking of upgrading and the things that are necessary to upgrade, this is a comment from Arch Sage 4803, and his comment was, the only part that needs to be expensive on an AR is the barrel. That's kind of a hot take, I think. The only part that needs to be expensive is the barrel.
That is kind of.
What do you think about that?
Kind of a hot take. If we're talking just the rifle itself, I would say the barrel is probably the best place to spend the bulk of your money. Now, in reality, I think the thing you should spend the most money on is your optic. I think. I mean, you can get away with skimping on an optic depending on what you're doing, but I think the more money you spend on your optic, the better experience, generally speaking, you're going to have with that optic in the long term. And unlike the barrel, the optics, most optic companies are going to have a lifetime warranty or a limited lifetime warranty of some type. Like if you're a Trijicon fan or a SIG fan, or we have one, Riton has one. These are like full lifetime warranties where 10 years down
Vortex,
the road,
of course, very famous.
10 years down the road, the tritium in your ACOG burns out. You can send it back to Detroit, and Trijicon's going to recharge and purge it and send it back to you, and you've got that optic forever. A barrel. And a lot of people underestimate this when they're building a rifle. Like almost every part on a rifle has a lifespan. And it's something that needs to be replaced over time. You get 25,000 rounds through your $600-700 barrel.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you need to get a new $600 or $700 barrel. It's
Yeah.
like a car. As the mileage goes up, it starts getting less reliable.
They're almost all wear out parts essentially, except for like maybe like the actual receiver set itself. Like okay, maybe like what do you call it? Round count doesn't matter for the handguard, right? But everything else where the round is basically interacting
now,
or gas is going through is lifespan.
If we exclude the optic, I do agree with the statement. I think the barrel is probably one of the most important parts for you to spend extra money.
Okay.
Now, I don't think you need to worry so much about who put their stamp on the barrel. I think you need to go watch our super long barrel series.
Yeah, go watch our 9-hour barrel series that Josh did.
It's only like 3 hours.
3 hours
that we spent like 4 months working on. But I think the quality and type of barrel that you get is going to make that cost go up.
Sure.
So if you're getting, a Cold Hammer forged barrel that's 4150 CMV, like you're going to spend a little bit more money on that, like probably $300 versus getting like a 4140 CM barrel or something. And even then, like you got some barrels that don't have huge lifespans but are incredibly good. Like you get like a 416R barrel from like Criterion or something.
Yeah.
It's like hook cut, like it's a cut barrel with like all of the rifling was done by hand. You can spend like $1,100, $1,200 on that 20-inch barrel, and it's got like a 5,000-10,000 round lifespan because it's just 416R. So yeah, I think the barrel, if you're going to spend money on one thing on your rifle, and I think we even showed that in our $600 or the $1,000, like if you're going to spend money on one thing to really improve the quality of your rifle, do the barrel, and then upgrade from the aluminum barrel nut to a titanium barrel nut, and you're going to have that's going to be the most bang for your buck.
Yeah.
I think as far as improving the quality of your rifle. Following that, I would say the number 2 thing is the trigger. Because the trigger is going to be like what really makes the rifle feel nice when you're shooting it. Because if you've got like a really mushy $30 mil-spec trigger, and then you take that same rifle and you trade that $30 smushy trigger out for even like an $80 or a $90 like a LaRue trigger, like automatically that rifle gets 110% better.
Oh, yeah.
Because it just feels better to shoot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I was going to say, I would say that the only thing, I guess it kind of depends on the comment here too. It depends what you mean by expensive, But I would say my number one thing would still be the trigger, and then
Be an adjustable gas block.
number 2. No, it wouldn't be that. I would skip that all day long. But my number one thing would be the trigger, followed by a good barrel, I think. But I mean, the other thing too is if you're saying that the only thing that needs to be expensive is the barrel, while at the same time not taking into account the glass, then that kind of we'll let Josh hack up his lung.
No, we're good.
That's kind of cutting against the whole idea of accuracy is the most important thing to me. Well, if accuracy is the most important thing to you because you're getting a nice expensive barrel, then you should probably spend more money on the optic itself. You know what I'm saying? So, get a quality optic, but then also I would say the interface of your accuracy is the trigger. And so getting that nice quality trigger is like, paramount to me. And I think as someone who enjoys good feeling guns, like I think the trigger is the thing that my enjoyment of the gun goes up as soon as I pull that thing. And I think along with that, with the suppressor as well, because then there's like less gas, less noise, everything else, and the enjoyment of the gun goes up a lot.
If we're talking about just the base rifle, I think you and I both agree that it's barrel and trigger. I bet a lot of the comments down there will probably also agree that barrel and trigger are probably the most 2 important things to upgrade on, like any AR if you're upgrading it, if it didn't come with that good. What do you think the third thing would be?
I think the third thing is I'm going to go with the suppressor, actually.
No, we're talking about just the rifle.
Just the rifle?
No external accessories, no detachable accessories, just the rifle.
Well, if it's direct thread, then boom, there you go. No, the third thing, oh man, I almost want to say a buffer, and I might say that is a buffer, because the buffer is going to change the amount of the feel of the recoil in the gun. It's not technically going to change like the amount of energy that's going through your gun. That's going to remain the same. But going from like, let's say a carbine spring or something like that, carbine buffer and spring, to a really nice like JP or Armaspec stealth recoil spring, that changes the feeling of the gun as well. It makes it way more comfortable, and I think that's kind of a game changer. So I would probably go with something like that. Either that or maybe a nice like muzzle brake or something like that to really get the gas out of there, or a compensator, like a linear compensator or something like that to get the gas, keep the gas, sort of away from you. If you can't do a suppressor like me, then or
I mean, you can, you just haven't.
I can, I just haven't done because I'm too much of a cheapskate. But anyway, so yeah, I think probably a buffer is the other thing, because that's really going to change. If you upgrade the trigger, the barrel, the buffer, that's really going to change the way the gun feels.
So I think the buffer is going to help with the kinetic energy coming back just a little bit, because the spring is actually what's absorbing most of that kinetic energy.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna slow things down, is what it's gonna do. It's not
which is dampening the kinetic energy, reducing the recoil.
right. It's
Which is why
absorbing.
when you put a rifle on a recoil sled, the buffer will actually kind of change the amount of energy that comes back and how far the gun slides back on the sled.
Well, yeah, it's going to change because it all has to do with absorption, and this is why like 9mm PCCs or at least AR9s have much heavier reciprocating mass that's required, because there's a lot more of this snap kinetic energy that's happening, and so then you have to load that thing up with super heavy, like a super heavy BCG, super heavy buffer system to absorb all that, so that the recoil is not just insane. But the amount of energy is still the same. It's just a matter of where is it getting absorbed and where's it getting slowed down. So that's kind of the difference there. But I mean, I think when you do add more weight, or not just adding more weight, but changing how the weight is being absorbed, which is what like the recoil springs do, the stealth recoil springs do, because they have kind of a captured spring and it's multiple systems happening there, and it's kind of slowing things down. It just makes the gun feel way more simple. Slowing things down, makes the gun feel a lot better.
I think for me, it would be a tie between the buffer and the bolt carrier group. I think they're both super important, and I think I would have to upgrade the first two and then see which one made the most sense. And based on what I'm going to do, 'cause I'm going to like suppress it, I might go with the CAC downward venting.
Yeah.
We saw, I've personally experienced how much of a difference that makes just this past week. So, but also the buffer is pretty important too. And I mean, if you upgrade your buffer, you get like 1 million more views on YouTube for whatever reason.
Yeah. Just because we're talking about buffers right now, our views are going to go up in this part of the video, just because.
So this was a comment. This is a comment from the $600 build video as well. There was a lot of really good comments.
Absolutely. A lot of people had opinions on that one.
Yeah, so this is from CJR8352.
Not me. No relation.
No, well, you're just CJ. He's CJR.
Oh, okay.
So you'd be CJW.
Oh, that's right.
So CJR8352 said, I find it wild when gun tubers say things like a $600 rifle is useless. Meanwhile, Hickok 45 will hit the same targets at the same distance with a $200 rifle and call it a fine rifle. Do you watch Hickok 45?
Not too much anymore.
I love that guy. If you've never met him, he's like 6'12".
Really?
6'14".
Really?
Yeah. I mean, not very many people in my life have made me feel small.
Yeah.
Because I'm 6.5 feet tall.
Yeah.
He's like I think easily 6'8" or 6'9".
Wow.
He is a humongous human being.
Wow.
I love that guy.
He starts all his videos the same way, Hickok 45 here, and it's great. Like just like a quick tangent is that he breaks all the rules of conventional YouTube, like all of these, retention editing and like kind of all the behind the scenes stuff that most of you guys don't care about. But it's like he will just upload a video and get like zillions of views, and it's just not at all what you're supposed to be doing as like a YouTuber, but everyone likes him.
If you look at someone like Kentucky Ballistics and compare it to Hickok 45, night and day difference. But I mean, I guess it kind of shows Kentucky Ballistics just bajillion views every time that guy uploads a video, and Hickok's more like in the 800,000 to 1 million view range. Like
only there.
This podcast is going to have like 900 views.
Yeah.
Just wild what that guy is able to do. And he's got so many good memes over the years too. I don't know if you've seen him, like the one where he does this thing called a woods walk. I don't know how familiar you are with this channel, but he'll take a shotgun and he'll go walk through the woods, and his son will have set up 2-liter bottles along the trail.
Okay.
And the woods walk involves him walking down the trail on his property and shooting the 2-liter bottle. It's great.
Yeah. But what do you think of that comment of like,
the $600 gun thing?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of guys in the YouTube sphere in our world are spoiled by the fact that most of us aren't ever paying MSRP for a gun.
Right.
A lot of the times you get the really, really, really big guys, your Garanthams, your who's
Dirty
another-
Civilians.
your Dirty Civilian,
Yeah, T-Rex or
any
Lucas,
of those
Lethal
guys.
Corp, Lucas, whatever. Yeah.
And even us, like we're never paying full price for a firearm.
Right.
And a lot of the times, the firearms actually, even if it's not free, is free because we're either using it for work and it's getting completely written off on the taxes and then we're reselling it later because it's not a gun we intend on keeping. But like, I think a lot of those guys lose connection to the industry. Like when was the last time, any of those guys just, and this isn't me calling anyone out. Like,
No.
when was the last time they walked into a gun store and bought a gun at full price with the person behind the counter not knowing who they are?
Yeah.
And I do that all quite frequently still because I don't like to use our employee discount all the time. I think actually I haven't done it in a while. The last time I did it was the Mark 18, and I bought that in 23.
Oh, yeah,
for
sure.
pig hunting. So that was the last time I bought a gun just in a conventional, like walk into the gun store and put a gun on order and order it like a normal human being. But they lose touch with that. And then they also lose touch with the cost of it because I'm talking to my buddy so-and-so at Geisele, who's the marketing director, and he's selling me the gun at their cost. So, yeah, I know the gun is actually, $2,800, but I paid $1,200 for it.
Yeah.
And it's also a tax write-off, and I'm going to resell it for a $1,200 profit. It's easy for them to lose touch.
Okay.
So it's easy for them to be like, oh, $600 guns are trash. You should only be shooting X, Y, or Z. Well, yeah, it's easy when BCM sends you the gun. It's easy to say that. So I do. That's why I like some of the channels like Honest Outlaw, a couple of those guys where I'm fairly certain they're still going through a conventional gun buying process.
Yeah.
And then giving their review and feedback. But over time, you can easily cross a line and get into the space of where it's like, I haven't bought a gun in 6 years, but I'm reviewing guns and suggesting that someone else buy it based on my experience.
Right.
But you can do a lot with a $600 rifle.
Oh, absolutely.
You can do a lot with a $350 rifle. I think
Yeah.
we've proven.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
just mud testing the heck out of that RF-15 showed me like there's a lot of value that can be put into a cheap rifle because of modern manufacturing that we didn't have in the 1990s or even the early 2000s and 2010s. It's just so much easier to get a really high quality CNC machine and spit out a really good firearm on the cheap. So I don't know, that's my take on it. I don't know what you're thinking.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right with people who lose touch, and I think this is a larger problem with like I guess kind of influencer culture, and people following the influencer culture, because we're all on YouTube, we all like watching podcasts or videos or whatever on people shooting guns and doing cool stuff, and I think there's even been this backlash recently, I think, to the influencer culture. I think you see it in the recent discussions about like GunTube is dead or whatever, and a lot of the conversations is GunTube isn't dead. It's just people don't want to spend money, on like all this expensive stuff that all these because these influencers now, even the gun influencers are so big that they can basically get whatever they want. Like they can ask SIG or whoever for an MCX or whatever, like a $2,000, $3,000 rifle. No real person is ever gonna really spend that unless they have crazy amounts of disposable income, which is kind of harder to do right now, particularly. And it has been for the last a long time, feels like since almost like COVID times or whatever. And so,
man, we're just hitting all the no topics.
We're hitting all the no topics. But
talking about the current events in Idaho. He just said COVID. This video
Oh, no.
is definitely not monetized.
Yeah. But no, I mean, all I'm saying is that real normal people just want like a good deal. Like they want stuff that isn't going to break the bank, especially in this space. A lot of times I think you were telling me, Josh, that a lot of times in this space you're dealing with, husband's disposable income, which can sometimes not be that much, or just men in general's disposable income, which can sometimes not be a huge piece of the pie. But I think people just want a good deal and they don't want to be marketed to all the time. Then people can really sniff out shills. I think a lot of the time.
I think if you save up the money and you want to spend, I've got the Mark 18. I paid full price for everything on that rifle. I got 0 deals on it. I spent like $6,000 on that
Yeah.
because
with the suppressor,
right,
with the
everyone
tax
looked
stamp.
at that rifle and they're like, "There's no way that was $6,000." Well, I mean, the Mark 18 at the time was a $2,500 rifle. I paid $200 for a tax stamp, or $2,700. I paid $1,500 for the ACOG I put on it, which was a mistake, but it's what I've got on there right now. I mean, so we're at like 45 there, and then I got a RC3, also a mistake. That's like a $1,600 suppressor plus a $200 tax stamp.
Yep.
And then, I've got a laser aiming module because I was shooting pigs with a PVS-14, so I needed an IR laser and an IR lay. So it's like another $1,400 just in those attachments, and then I dropped the Better Geisley trigger in it, so that was like $250. And I was like, why would you spend that much? Well, because this is the gun that I wanted to build. Like, I wanted to build that gun since 2014. I wanted to build that exact style of gun. And then not only did I always want to build that gun, I had an excuse to use it every single weekend because I was living in Texas. And we were hopping on side-by-sides and ATVs and just running pigs down and shooting them off the back. Great gun for that. Now it's just like we use it in YouTube videos. It's like the only thing I use it for anymore is when we need a really high-dollar rifle to
But it's still a
fun
super cool gun.
Yeah, it's super cool gun. It's super fun to shoot. I really like that RC3. My only gripe with that RC3 is I don't think it's $800 better than the RC2. I think they might even have it down to like $1,200 now. But when I got it, it was brand new. It was the new hotness.
Well, and is it any better than some of the brand new, like, additive manufactured, like Griffin suppressors or anything like that?
No, I think a lot of those suppressors, I mean, we shot a bunch of the additive ones Griffin had when Ben came out, and they're all amazing. Oh, yeah. And it's like, I feel like a dummy for getting that. And then, I mean, Surefire even they put the RC4 out.
Oh, sure.
So, I mean, I think even they're getting into the additive game. So it's always a bummer when a couple of years later, everything drastically changes.
Oh, yeah.
And then your very expensive decisions kind of get ruined or outpaced by the advances in technology.
I feel the same way about camera lenses and things like that. All of a sudden, this new camera lens came out, and then all of a sudden, I mean, it's the case with any hobby. Like, like the new stuff comes out, and all of a sudden you want that. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that comment is, kind of indicative of, well, we want, I think people want the deal. They don't want to be marketed to. They don't want to be shilled at. And you know what? I don't blame them for that. And that leads us to this comment, which is another hot take. And it's from Robert Sunday 7973. Hot take: if you think lights are practical, tactical, and slings are not, you're actually tactical. I'm not quite sure what he means by all that, but I think this comes from the podcast. And at one point, I had said that a light is tactical, is more practical than a sling, is basically what I said, was kind of my take. That a weapon light is more practical than a sling.
So this is another one of those super subjective things.
Okay.
Right? If you look at it from your perspective, you're not someone that's out on the range running drills, running around all the time. You don't really need a sling. You're not doing.
Right.
I mean, when was the last time you did a patrol with a rifle?
I've never done a patrol with a rifle.
Probably never. So, but when was the last?
I'd like to.
But
That'd
when
be
was
fun.
the last time your wife was gone and you picked up the rifle next to your bed and cleared your house?
Oh, that's every
That's
weekend.
probably Saturday.
yeah, it's every weekend.
So yeah, I mean, for you, the light is a way better investment than the sling because your rifle, for the most part, is living at your bedside, and you've got it for home defense or for clearing your house and shooting little USPSA 3D print targets that you've taped to the wall while your wife has gone shopping or whatever. So it's really that's a subjective thing, in my opinion. Personally, I think you should have both a sling and I mean you do have a sling.
I do have a sling on my gun. Yeah, I do.
MS1 or something, right?
I have an MS1 MQD, the one with the kind of more enhanced QDs. So I don't know if I ever actually said that in the video. So just to clear that up now, I do actually run a sling on my gun. Because when I did take a carbine class a year or so ago, I did actually, it was more than a year now. I did do a class where he talked about putting on a sling as like the first thing when you're picking up your gun, even in like a home defense situation, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to get in a tussle or something like that, and the rifle can go any which way. So you want to have the gun on your body, kind of the same principle as like on a holster or something like that. But you want to have the gun on your body as best as possible, and the sling is the best way to do that. So so my kind of standard is like if I'm picking up my gun for home defense or whatever, pick it up, sling it, then point it somewhere in a safe direction. So yeah, I think slings are still very necessary, and I personally don't think a gun is finished without a sling.
Aren't you in a center townhouse?
Yeah.
You have a neighbor on both sides. You don't have a safe direction to point your rifle.
Exactly. Well, that's why you have correct ammo. I use some VMAX ammo that is high, is basically breaks apart very easily on contact, even with drywall and stuff. Yeah. So it's even done some drywall testing, and it won't like penetrate so much through that. So
I took a really good home defense course. I'm gonna say it was like 2018, and the guy he ran through a bunch of scenarios. And he basically turned the home defense into a shoot no shoot thing. And we spent like the first hour going through like all these shoot no shoot scenarios in the shoot house.
Fascinating.
And then at the end of the course, he's like, okay, so now we're gonna run one last scenario. And he just took a knee behind the bed, pointed his rifle at the door, and yelled that he was calling 911 and told whoever it was not to come back in the house. And then the next course we ran through a bunch of different scenarios where it was like getting to your kid's room so that you could strong point in that room.
Yeah.
And the moral of this instructor, and the moral of his paradigm was that like you shouldn't go hunt someone in your house. You should strong point somewhere and let whoever's in your house know that you're armed and that you've called police, so that hopefully they will leave.
Yeah.
Or at the very least they won't come back to where you are.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to get into a fight.
Yeah.
And the shoot no shoot scenarios we ran at the beginning of it, it was kind of funny because it was like people were just like doing CQB, just flowing through the shoot house where we had simunitions.
Yeah.
And they would just light the target up, and then they'd light the target up and be like, "Congratulations, you just killed you just killed your daughter's boyfriend who was trying to sneak out of the house." Like just situations like that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like, because no one, when you're going to that course, you're thinking automatically there's a bad guy in your house trying to kill you or steal something from you. It's like, well, what about all these other little scenarios where it is something like it's your daughter's boyfriend sneaking out of the house, or it's your kid.
Well, you should just shoot him anyway.
it's your kid trying to sneak back in from a party or something.
Yeah.
Like all these weird little scenarios. That was eye-opening. I never thought about it that way before.
Yeah.
So I think that was one of the situations where like I totally changed my mind on how
When I
home
think-
defense should work.
I think that's probably true. I think Charlie had brought up at one point, when is a good time to leave your bedroom or leave your, strong point or whatever. Which I would say, if you're in a situation where you are strong pointing, like or you have a very strong suspicion that someone is in your house, causing a ruckus or whatever, you're calling the cops, obviously. And so then I guess your way out of that is when the cops show up, they clear your house, right? And they clear your house, and everything's safe, and then you're done. So I pretty much agree with the sense of you shouldn't be clearing your house, even though that's pretty cool.
Unless there's like a specific reason for it. So that he did bring all that up. It's like, say you are on the first floor and your kids are on the second floor of your house. Like you don't want to strong point and then leave your kids stranded. Like it makes sense to move to where they are. And in that instance, like you do have to run through all these shoot no shoot scenarios. Like it's wild to think about, and it's really hard to determine what kind of situation you might be in. There's a really famous viral video of a guy. He hears something going down in his kitchen, and there's like not CCTV. It's like the home security, like Ring doorbell.
Yeah, the Ring doorbell stuff.
And he's like coming down the stairs, and there is a grizzly bear in this guy's kitchen, and he engages it with a 300 blackout. So like, you never know what's going to happen. And it goes back to what I was talking about at the beginning, the what if situation.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do if there's a grizzly bear in my kitchen? I don't know. You figure it out right then and there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let me get to this next comment. What do we got? This one, I think this is going to be a short one. So this was on the first Smash or Pass podcast.
Okay.
Sorry, CJ. At the time of this recording, we hadn't been around the moon and seen the back side of it yet. So you're wrong, but as of last week, we did go around the moon and saw the back side of it and saw different colors of material on there and some other strange oddities. But now I don't know if I can take your info seriously because of the quickness and conviction that you said, oh, yeah, we have, in regards to have we been to the moon, when it's literally the only reason for the last billions of dollars in moon missions for the last 50 years plus.
Okay.
This is so out of left field.
This is so out of pocket.
This
All
was
right,
in
so
response to someone saying, "Have we been to the moon?"
welcome,
You said yes.
welcome to the Space Cast. Now we can get into this. I think I was actually. So this is a little bit of a funny story. I was actually at a friend's house. And there were some. We were at our church group, and there was a new couple that had showed up, and so I had asked them, "Hey, so I'm just getting to know you guys. You know, I'm kind of, this is like I'm kind of a fun guy, so I said, hey, I'm just getting to know you guys. So I want to know you guys' hottest take." Okay, and then they proceeded to tell me all these kinds of hot takes that they have had, right? And some of it had to do with JFK, whatever. Some of it had to do. The moon landing came up, and I said, guys, my hottest take is the fact that I believe we did land on the moon. And they all went, "Oh, what? Oh, you're kidding? No way!" And I'm like, this actually did happen. So I am a huge believer in the moon landing, and it did happen. And anybody who doesn't think it happened is just completely ignorant of all the science and all the history that has ever happened.
The comment section. Actually, we were at Breek.
Is that right? Oh, yes.
We were at Breek, and the Breek guys told CJ that he was wrong.
Oh, I said that the moon landing happened. They all looked at me like I was insane. And I'm like, is this like the new mainstream position of like my generation of like, oh, the moon landing didn't happen. Everyone knows the moon landing didn't happen. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Well,
like,
because if it had happened, we would have had cheese from the moon.
I'm like, I think people ironically
do you
believe
remember
it.
their conspiracy that the engineer from the moon landing that you talked to at Space Camp
Oh, yes.
was a plant from the government to tell people about how he worked on the moon.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, because I have been
was a good one.
to Space Camp when I was a kid like 6 times. Okay, in Huntsville, Alabama. This is where
He was really good on Nickelodeon game shows.
That's right. Yeah, right. And there is where they tested like all of the rockets for a number of things, but particularly like the Saturn V, which is the rocket that we launched to go to the moon. It really happened. And one of the engineers was there. He's
Allegedly.
He might be passed away by now, but I actually talked to one of the engineers that worked on the F1 engine, which is the engine that the Saturn V used on the first stage. And so he worked on that. Not the only guy, but he worked on that. And he's probably like 75 or something like that. We'd go up to him, ask him questions. He was just hanging out in the museum. He's like kind of, retired, just employed, probably making, whatever money. And then just his job is just to hang out in the museum and people talk to him. And we would talk to him, and he had all this awesome info about all these engines and the things that he did. And I'm like, you really think that this guy just is like a plant that just made up? Like he's just making all this up, and he's like not real. He didn't actually have all this experience and things. And all the people at Breek especially were like, "Oh yeah, he's just a plant. Like he's just there."
They were joking.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah.
We're gonna drive this back to firearms.
Okay,
Sorry,
okay,
I thought
okay.
that was a hilarious, mean comment, and I had to give it to CJ.
If you want to get me riled up, just bring up the fact that people don't believe the moon landing happened. Because my last thing I'll say on this is that it's actually more amazing. This is a case in life where the reality is more unbelievable than the conspiracy, because it's like, wow, that we actually landed people on the moon in the 60s. Amazing. Like, that's crazy. Okay, this is actually my favorite one that I found. So when someone talks about colors and looks of the gun, it usually tells me all I need to know. So this is a chain of comments. So that was Chaco Kenny Jeb, I think.
Close enough.
So that was his first, a premium subscriber, I would say. And this next response is from Yosmate 6940. Colors and looks of a gun should be the last part anyone worries about, though. It's nice to have a gun that looks cool, since it does make you want to shoot more. Okay. And then another response, Mr. Cashy Kitty. It's all getting the rattle can anyway. That's what he said. So.
Hey, the rattle can is done also to make it look cool.
That's true.
How many people need the camouflage of their rattle can on the gun?
Right, exactly. So I'm saying, I think the first comment is interesting. So when someone talks about colors on a gun, it usually tells me all I need to know.
If you buy your car because you like the way it looks, that tells me all I need to know.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's like,
so. I mean, really, it's a personal preference thing. If you're going to spend a ton of money on a firearm, and you can make it look however you want to make it look.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
And
I would,
especially, I think this might have been in regards to some of the paint jobs Charlie's done. Like Charlie's got
75 rifles or
yeah.
something, like just a ridiculous number of them. And it gets
And
to a
he did
point-
auto body, you know, like he studied that.
And it gets to a point where you built so many black AR-15s, like so many black rifles, like,
Right.
you know, I want to build this one for me. I want it to look cool on my wall. I want to do a one-of-one custom distressed Cerakote job in an American flag, or I want to do a bunch of red parts to make it go faster, like the orcs in Warhammer 40K.
Yeah.
Or just, you know, you want to do the battle arms development treatment where you have just like wild, wacky, and crazy anodization all over the rifle because you think it looks neat. By all means, go for it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's you. If you want to do that, it's your rifle. Right?
Well, I do wonder what he means by colors because, I mean, are you thinking that, is OD green in this? Like, is FDE on this? Like, I mean, if you saw someone with an FDE gun, I'm pretty sure you're not like, oh, eye roll, he's got FDE on his gun. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's like the most common like color ever, you know, or OD green.
It's literally the most common color. Like, I think
Yeah.
all of our most popular stuff ends up going out in like FDE.
Absolutely. If it's not black, it's usually FDE. So so FDE stuff always that looks cool. You know, you can have a two-tone FDE look. You know, you can have an OD green. Like you just built a new gun that was the Wook stuff with the OD green chassis. That looks really cool. You know, the Wook stuff. Like, is that color now or is that just wood? You know, is that like I think the wood looks awesome. And you know, I mean, obviously that whole company exists just because it's like you know there's tons of companies that exist. I think Tyrant, they make like the gold stuff. They do way more handgun
Fortis
stuff.
does a bunch
Fortis
of stuff that's just because it looks cool.
exactly like it's
Carbon fiber and it's lightweight.
yeah, exactly. Like all kinds of companies. I mean, even us. You know, Stinger. Like there's the Stinger brand that has like really cool, you know, very aggressive looking handguards. So I don't think that looks.
I think
have
there's
to do with,
what is it? I don't know if it's Dunning-Kruger, but there's like a graph, right? You got the guy that's a beginner, like he might do like some wacky, crazy color thing, and it's like I did it because it looks cool, and then the graph goes up, and there's like this screaming guy that's like, no, you're only allowed to make black and FDE AR-15s that are all BCM parts with this exact optic, and it has to be this sling, and you have to rubber band it to your stock in this exact way. And then you get down to the other side where it's again the guy that's built like 100 different rifles. It's like I built it because I think it looks cool.
Yeah.
Like there's like a guide to it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
When
yeah.
you built so many rifles, you want to do something different because otherwise you might as well be on the Geisley assembly line floor building the exact same production run rifle.
Well, and the cool thing about ARs is you can get them to look however you want. Like with all the companies that we said, or all the the colors and the different things. It's like you can get them to look however you want. That's like the whole point of the AR is that it's so modular.
Well, think about that little 22 LR that Ryan did.
Yeah.
Ryan's one of our shipping guys in the back. He did a 22 LR because he wanted to get his daughter into shooting.
Yeah, like a dedicated 22.
And it's got a 4-inch barrel.
Yeah, with
on
a
it,
quad rail.
It's got a 4-inch barrel with a linear compensator, and I think it has like a 8-inch quad or a 7-inch quad rail or something.
So it's like a tucked suppressor or like a tucked muzzle device. Yeah.
On when he's got like the law folder, like a skeletonized Fortis pistol grip. It's all in like a titanium.
Yeah.
It just looks super cool.
Yeah,
It
it's
makes you want to shoot it because wow, that looks cool.
And then we put a suppressor on that thing too when we were out shooting with Griffin, and it was like that is so fun.
The cardboard breaking was louder than the gunshot.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was so
such
cool.
a fun gun to shoot.
We did a short and it did like 50,000 views or whatever with that gun because I think people were just like, oh, that looks neat, you know.
You can make a gun just because you want it to look cool.
Right.
Like you're allowed to do that. And this is my hot take for that guy. If you're judging someone for what they built, like maybe you need to focus more on what you're doing because you're not their dad, and you don't know what they built that for or how many guns they built before that or after that.
Well, I think it comes from a place of these are tools, you know, like they're not toys. These are tools that are meant for, really dangerous stuff. Originally meant for, military use, and like that's what it's for.
You can build them specifically as tools for that purpose. That's the good thing about firearms, in my opinion, is you can build it for whatever you want. You can build a 22 LR that's for teaching your daughter how to get into shooting guns, and you want her to think it looks cool.
Yeah.
So you can build one that looks cool and is cool, right? right? Or you can build the R/AR-15 AR-15, where it's all BCM parts with a EOTech on a little riser that brings it up a little bit, and it looks exactly like every other fighting rifle that's ever been made.
15 with the Surefire, you know, whatever.
Because someday you're going to save up enough money for those quad nines. But yeah, you can build that rifle, and you know, I think most of us have built that rifle. And when you've built that rifle 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 10 times, like, okay, I want to try something different. So then it's like, you know, let's do a red and blue mismatch Superman AR-15 for fun.
Right.
It's not all that it's at the gun show and it's $100 of the cheapest parts. It doesn't always mean that. And I think a lot of guys, that's what they see is they go to a gun show and they see the guy that's in the one booth. He's got like the Chinese EOTech that is anodized red and all of the taser devices.
Yeah.
And then in the booth right next to that's Bubba with all the red anodized parts on his gun. Like, that's not the only version of that. You can make a really high-end rifle with fun colors just because you think it looks cool. You know, you're not my dad. That's what I want to build. That's what I'm going to build.
Right, exactly.
And if it gets me to build. It lets me build something that I haven't built before too.
Yeah, and we can tone down some of the judgmental nonsense, I think, in a little bit of the industry. You know, like, I understand where people are coming from. Like, oh, you know, these are tools or whatever, and you know, you don't need crazy colors all over your tool or whatever. But it's like, I mean, I don't know. Even Milwaukee's are like yellow or whatever, or red, and DeWalt's are yellow.
That actually brings us full circle back to that Jordan Salinas guy that I was talking at the beginning of it. I don't know if you've looked into that guy at all. I don't think you have. So he engaged that mass shooter. He was wearing a cowboy hat with a feather. He was wearing a shoulder holster for his pistol, which is like, most people would look at that and be like, that's the dumbest thing. He saved people's lives.
Yeah.
You know, and people would probably, if no one had seen what he did that day, if he had posted his setup on Reddit, he would have gotten roasted by those guys.
Oh yeah,
because he was doing what he wanted to do.
Right.
He was doing
and what he was trained on.
And he had practiced that way as well. There's weird videos of him doing the John Wick. What do you call that?
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but he was doing that. You know, when the rubber met the road, he did what a lot of people wouldn't do. He stood up and he engaged the bad guy, you know, even though it put himself at substantial risk. So, I mean, if you use the tools that you've got, no matter what tools they are, they're still tools, even if they look a little weird, or even if you're a little eccentric and doing it a little weird yourself. Like, I think you're absolutely right. We are a little bit too judgmental in this space, and it's like, at the end of the day, if you're out practicing and you're out training and you're out getting better and you're having more fun building firearms and it keeps you actively engaged in the space, then by all means, go ahead and do it. And like the other guy said, it doesn't matter at the end of the day anyways, because you're going to rattle can everything.
Right. Right, yeah. And you should do that. That is fun to do. Yeah. All right, so I think...
But that is all we have for today, guys. We will be back next week, hopefully with Charlie. He's been a little busy, so...
Yeah, he has.
We will catch y'all in the next one.
See you.